Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state. Did you know that life insurance rates are near record lows? If you own life insurance or are thinking of buying any, why spend more than you have to? I'm Byron Udell, founder of AccuQuote. Since 1986, we've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Here's how we do it. We monitor the products offered by dozens of the most well-respected brand-name life insurance companies you trust so that you get the lowest rates. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can buy $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $21 a month. 20 and 30-year rates are also available. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life plans that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Take 5 minutes and call AccuQuote for your free quote at 800-654-2075. Find out how much you can save on your life insurance. Call AccuQuote today at 800-654-2075. That's 800-654-2075.
Blog Talk Radio.
All right, we have decided to eschew, to get rid of the intro music. It just wasn't sounding right to me on the podcast.
But I don't want to eschew the music.
Well, we are.
I'm not ready to eschew.
I know, but we're going to do the full 2 hours with no musical interludes, no breaks, none of that stuff. It's happening now.
I'm eschewing my bladder because of this.
Oh, well, do not eschew your bladder. Although I think we've probably picked up inadvertently even the word of the day for the broadcast. I hope that's not the case. I don't particularly want to eschew everything today.
I don't even know if we're pronouncing it right.
I don't know if we are either, but whatever. All right. So welcome to the Frank the Unicorn radio program. We're on live. We've got Frank and Beans.
Yellow.
Welcome, Beans. We've got our lovely producer as well, listening in and there with us. And she will be helping with the live tweeting, which is a new aspect of our program that we're introducing this week. We are now on Twitter.
Hooray for live tweets.
Yes, and so you can actually interact with the show. You can tweet live with us. You can tweet questions to us. You can tweet commentary to us, and we will take selected questions on the air, probably all of them if we get any via the Twitter.
Nice.
Twitter.com/FrankTheUnicorn. That's our Twitter handle. And we're going to get some calls in today. We've got a special guest call on the show a little bit later on when we get into the magazines here. We're going to look at Glamour again. This one has the 12 naughty sex questions you've been dying to ask.
Well, I'm dying to answer them.
Yes, and as a little bit of a break from that, we're also going to look into Bust magazine, which is another
which I've never heard of until tonight. I'm very excited.
Actually, it's very different than what we're used to dealing with, so we're going to...
It's got Rashida Jones on the cover, and frankly, that's enough for me.
I'm going to move the mouse off her face.
I'm not actually going to let you touch that. I'm keeping that magazine.
Okay,
that's my magazine now.
You can have it when we're done. That's okay. You may have to fight the wife for it.
I don't think so.
I think you'll win, though. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, I know I'll win.
Yeah. All right, so I'm not helping you this time. Okay, I take no sides.
Now I don't know if I'll win.
I take no sides. But all right, so yeah, we're going to have some call-ins, and we're probably going to get we're going to hopefully get a call-in for a George story. That should happen too. We've also, of course, we've got our Who to Get segment, the Week in History, and actually I'm really excited about Who to Get because I think this week we've got some really, really good stuff there to dig into.
When do we do Veterinarians Hospital and Pigs in Space? When do those come up? I don't want to miss those.
I don't even know what to say to that.
We're not doing Pigs in Space this week?
No.
Sorry, Dr. Strangepork. I'll miss you.
You know what? It took us almost 2 hours to get them up at reference before.
Yeah.
Or more than 2 hours.
Oh, now the Muppets are right out of the gate.
Well, yeah, because now it's 3 minutes in. Before we were... Right. Speaking of out of the gate, I'm glad you said that, because that reminds me, I do want to take a special moment here, and we talked last week that I was going to be going to Calder for this race.
How was that? I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, it was amazing. It was great.
I tried to talk to you off the air.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame you. I actually really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun at Calder. It was a great time. We want to thank Pitch to the Rhino and Toby with Pitch to the Rhino and Jose for having us out there. That was great. And we want to also thank Jared as well and wish him well. He's doing some competitions, and we know he's going to do well, so good for Jared. And
so hooray for pitchtotherhino.com.
Yep, and it don't cost me, well, I gambled a little bit. I don't gamble, but I did actually bet on some horses.
Oh, hashtag I just lost a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money.
Well, for this show it is.
For this show, it's our entire budget.
That's why we don't have music this week, folks.
We had to cut the segment because We couldn't afford it. I lost all my money betting on the ponies. But it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. I think, it's kind of unexpected. It's an unexpected place to go. It's not somewhere I would have thought to go on my own. So to have the opportunity to go out there and do that was actually a lot of fun.
That's very cool.
And I could see how I would really enjoy.
And did they wear the tall hats?
No, they did not wear the tall hats. But we did actually get to go down into the winner's circle and meet one of the jockeys.
The winner's circle?
Yeah, we went.
That's not just the name of the bar. There's an actual thing.
It's an actual thing.
I had no idea.
Yeah, we were there. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I probably would go back to Calder if I wanted to lose more money. So, depending on how the show goes, if
you're going to lose your money, that seems like the place to do it.
A unicorn at a racetrack really stands out, but what are you going to do?
Maybe if they get you riding one of the horses.
Like, we had a tall jockey, and I towered over him. It was cool. It made me feel really...
No, I saw the tall jockey. That's the one that's standing out on the lawn outside, that little dome guy? Or...
Jeez.
No?
No, that's not... That is not it. That is not it. Also, one other thing I wanted to mention. I saw a really cool product. It's called a bike peddler cyclist mirror. And it's actually a mirror that hooks onto either your glasses or your sunglasses, and it's a rear view mirror for when you're riding your bike.
That was awesome when I was in school. I could have cheated off the kid behind me.
It's a little, the teacher may have seen it. It's pretty conspicuous.
Drats.
Yeah, it's out there. But it's a really cool product, and they are a company, Greeley, Colorado, Bike Peddler Bike Products, and they make that cyclist mirror. It's a really, really cool thing. So you ride your bike if you're doing the green thing, or you just enjoy riding your bike, or you want to cheat off the kid behind you in a conspicuous fashion, you can check out that product. It's really cool. And I do want to also thank Elfmatronics, which is now our official IT sponsor for the Frank the Unicorn radio program. And we'll post their contact.
A sponsor?
Well, they're not necessarily a sponsor. They help us with all of our IT stuff.
Oh, for a minute there I thought we were cool.
No, well, like my computer crashes or fries or gets all crazy, I call them and they fix it, and they do a really good job. So I just wanted to mention them too. So yeah, let's go ahead and just segue into our Who to Get segment.
Are we eschewing anything before we do that?
I don't think we're going to eschew.
You have to let me know.
No, I don't think so. I think we're going to chew on this one.
For those following us on Twitter, that would be #StuffToAShoe.
Stuff to a shoe. That's excellent. I like that. Unfortunately, our producer...
You do get extra points for spelling.
That's true. Give us the hashtag one more time.
That would be...
That's what it is. Stuff to a shoe, not a shoe.
No, eschew.
All right, so let's get into Who to Get. Now, I saw a film this week, watched it on Netflix, like the instant watch it now on the Wii. Absolutely loved it. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed this movie. I've been telling you all week how much I enjoyed this movie. You can't tell me because
this is a radio program.
Yes,
you need to tell me.
I have to tell you. Otherwise,
that's how radio works.
Yeah.
Don't tell me we have no show.
Thank you, Beans. So the movie is called Seven Dwarves. And
like grumpy and dopey and sleepy and Doc.
Except not. It's a German movie. It's actually called Seven Zwerge. That's bashful. No. It's this weird German movie.
Rudolph, was that one of them?
No. I don't believe Rudolph.
Not even in the German version?
No. I don't remember the name of the.
That seems unfair.
All right. Well,
Rudolph the dwarf would have been the best dwarf ever.
Rudy the dwarf.
Rudolph.
That was Sean Astin.
I guess that's true.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean Astin.
That's not right.
He was in.
So much him being one of our Who to Get people.
Seriously, yeah, he's not gonna.
Sorry,
you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna eschew our show.
He is. You can't eschew a show.
You can't make this stuff up. Okay, so yes. Anyway, the Seven Dwarves. It's I am going to encourage anyone and everyone that has access to Netflix or.
Well, before you encourage them, let me get this straight. It's a German Seven Dwarves movie.
Yes, but and the Seven Dwarves are actually played by full-size actors. They're not dwarves. Or
not economy-size actors.
No, they're not
full-size.
They're not little people. They're fully grown people. And anyway,
so they're not short people who got no reason to live.
That's right. And Randy Newman did not do the theme song.
That's a shame.
Well, no, the songs actually are pretty good. It's a musical.
There are songs?
There's a musical. There are songs. Dance numbers. There's a river dance number.
German river dance.
There's hairdressing.
If you're following us on Twitter, hashtag German Riverdance.
German Riverdance. There's makeovers, there's intrigue, there's pretty much everything except violence, which is pretty cool.
Is there a Snow White?
There is a Snow White. There's an evil queen. There's a
Is it one of the dwarves?
No, it's not. It's not one of the dwarves. No.
That's a shame. That's a movie I'd pay to see. Forget watching Instantly.
Alrighty then. They've got your $9.99. They have it. They have it now.
They've got my $9.99.
They've got it now. All right. So that I would get them. And then of course, the other one that I would throw out there, and this is just because it's been a staple of my television watching, oddly enough, for a certain part of my life when I was growing up, and I know it was for you. And again now.
I haven't grown up yet, but I'll give it a shot one day.
Well, when you were younger, let's say that. When you were a wee beans.
Fair enough.
Yeah. When you were just a bean.
Before I became a wrinkled old bean.
Right, that's right. Before you were boiled. Okay, so Charles in Charge is available also on the Netflix.
I still quite enjoy Charles in Charge.
I love it. I watched actually all 5 seasons, every episode of all the seasons.
When I was in junior high, the one person I wanted to be, Scott Baio.
You know, if not for Scott Baio's current...
Don't know anything about his current... I haven't watched the reality shows. I know they're there. I didn't bother because I didn't want to tarnish my Charles.
Yeah, I didn't really watch reality shows either, but I did catch, because we started watching the Charles in Charge again. And
you don't want to tarnish your Charles.
No, of course not. You can't. And he's so likable and great. And, you don't want to tarnish that. But I wanted to see what is he up to now besides this reality show, And, cause he has a baby and stuff. He's got a lot going on. And it turns out he's like going on Glenn Beck and doing that whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
And
let's go back to the German
and that so flies in the face of everything that Charles would have stood for, which is crazy. But he's an actor, so what are you going to do? Oddly enough, I would not even really. I mean, Obviously, I'd love to talk to Scott Baio. We'd probably get into a political discussion, which we try to avoid on the show.
Shortly after he smacked you for calling him Chachi.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't call him Chachi. I'd call him Chaz though.
I don't think he would enjoy that.
Chaz was like the badass Charles, like when he hit his head and he went all badass.
He was like the red kryptonite Charles in Charge?
Pretty much, yeah. He was like
awesome.
the Red Hulk. Yeah, he was Zorro Charles. It was great. Wore like leather and whatever. Anyway, yeah, but so the guy that I'd really, obviously, like I said, I'd get any of the cast members, but Willie Aames.
You're about to bring Buddy into this, aren't you?
Yes, of course. Buddy Willie Aames. I know that most recently he's known for playing Bibleman.
There's a Bibleman?
There was a Bibleman. He actually created the character, I believe, of Bibleman, which was this TV
All right,
show.
Show's over, folks. I gotta get to the comics store.
Yeah, it's a
get me an issue of Bibleman.
No, it's a TV show.
Oh, he didn't make a comic book?
I have no idea.
Hashtag missed opportunity.
Hashtag Bibleman.
That is a terribly missed opportunity.
It is. It's a terribly missed opportunity, and probably one he should have. Yeah. Anyway,
from the good book to the good comic book, he could have done that.
Oh, man. The problem is, it's not a. If it were a comic book, I don't think it would be very good, because the show was apparently not very good at all. Although he did a traveling review of the show as well. He actually Bibleman on tour.
People don't do enough traveling reviews these days.
I don't think they do.
All we get are those jagoffs from Jersey Shore coming down here. We don't get Bibleman.
How the hell is Jersey Shore if they're in Miami?
I don't even want to know.
I don't even discuss them anymore. They're disgusting.
Never seen it. Never planned to.
They're disgusting. They're disgusting. All right. So, but Willie Aames. Let's go back to him. Let's get to Bible. Let's go from Jersey Shore in Miami to Willie Aames, Bibleman, Buddy Lembeck, Charles in Charge. I would love to get him on the show because the show still stands up as you watch it. It still stands up. As does Zapped, for those of you who are serious. Well, that movie, how could it not? The main feature. We all know the main feature of that movie, which will cause us to lose listeners. So I'm not going to say the words, but the globes. Anyway, come on, you don't have to. Didn't you just say we were grown up? Yes. Well, possibly. I'm a unicorn, man. I can say whatever I want. Who cares? We've got our own slang. I'm making up my own language.
Taking back my copy of Porky's 2 the next day.
You can keep it. I come on. It doesn't compare anyway.
Shameful.
To Porky's 1? Come on.
All right, I'll give you that.
It's not
better than Porky's Revenge, though.
Well, yeah.
All right,
I think Bibleman is better than we see. There you go. We found something. Porky's Revenge.
That's probably true.
Although they made Porky's Revenge even better?
Willie Aames?
Bibleman, yeah.
Yeah, actually either way.
Or Willie Aames and Scott Baio. Because I don't think at this point you can really have Scott Baio without Willie Aames.
Were either of them in Zapped Again? I don't remember that. I don't think I ever saw that movie.
I didn't either, and I believe that had Adrian Zmed, Mr. 80s sequel.
What's happened to Adrian Zmed?
I don't know. Adrian Zmed, you're on Twitter. You know what? I'm going to ask. Willie Aames is on Twitter. Oh, can you send Willie Aames a message, please, and let him know that the Frank the Unicorn program would love to talk to him at 347-326-9700.
But while we're there, let's also see if Adrian Zmed is on Twitter.
Why not? See if we can get although I can talk to Willie Aames about things that Willie Aames has done.
I can talk to Adrian Zmed about Grease 2 all day long.
Right, I was just going to say, Grease 2 is about it for me with Adrian Zmed.
No, I watched T.J. Hooker. I always really liked Adrian Zmed.
I had nothing against Adrian Zmed. I just wasn't, really aware of him much as I guess I should be. You know what? I think you just segmented into our Gutenberg of the Week.
I don't know that we can segment that way. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
All right, we'll segue.
There we go.
You got on your little scooter with the two wheels and you zipped right over.
My segue.
All right, anyway. Adrian Zmed. Wow, Spring Break 83, Willie's father. Ooh. Larry the Cable Guy Christmas Spectacular. Passions, he was on...
He was on a Larry the Cable Guy special?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Dirty Caroler Dad.
You were looking for something worse than Bibleman, and I think you just found it.
Well, here's another one, Caroline in the City. That was definitely worse than Bibleman.
I actually kind of liked Caroline.
No!
Sorry, Malcolm Getz was very funny.
Oh, my. Adrian Zmed, I guess, I could talk about his career here. We could talk about T.J. Hooker a little bit, and he was in Bachelor Party. We could talk about Bachelor Party, Grease 2.
You know, Bachelor Party, I was surprised, doesn't really hold up for me.
No?
Loved it when I was in junior high because I was in junior high, but I watched it fairly recently. I got to tell you, it's very shrill and not that funny.
I would...
Not as funny as I remembered it being, but then again, 12.
12, right.
Yeah.
Although, again, I could see where now watching it, you'd have a different perspective because, okay, that's Tom Hanks.
But Porky's is still very funny.
Of course.
I don't know how that holds up. But for some reason, Bachelor Party just didn't do it for me.
Well, I think when you get to a certain age, you realize that if someone brings a donkey into your house, it's not funny anymore.
True.
Past a certain age, the donkey in the house, not funny. Annoying, smelly, disgusting, foul, possibly illegal. Just not...
Are we still talking about Willie Aames movies?
No! Oh, wow. I thought we were on Adrian Zmed, but okay.
Just his movies, not the man.
Yes, of course. Did we... Oh, we've got a call coming in.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and pick it up. You're on with Frank and Beans, caller.
Hey, Frank Bean, it's Sean. What's up?
What's going on, Sean?
There?
Yeah, same old, same old. You
All right.
were calling in. It's the George segment, I think.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. We're going to take a little break from our Who to Get segment and stop beating up on Willie Aames and Adrian Zmed for a second, and let's get to our George.
But life will continue beating up on Willie Aames and Adrian Zmed.
Well, it will never stop beating up on.
It'll never stop. But Willie Aames will get beaten up for the rest of with that. It's still that's the image of him as some celebrity fit club and his man boobs jiggling as he slams the door in everybody's face.
Aww.
Let me guess, Willie. I'm just waiting for a producer to say, yeah, Willie Aames is on Twitter. He's calling the show. Is that going to happen? I don't know. That's probably not going to happen.
I think the publicist would rather he
not?
He do Zapped again.
Zapped again.
Yeah.
I could actually see where they would make that movie. I could see that as like a USA, Up All Night.
Oh no, forget USA Up All Night. I'd pay to go see that. Zapped again.
Just if they had the stones to call it Zapped again. If they just like Snakes on a Plane. I'm sure there were
More
a lot of
snakes on a plane.
Right. Even more snakes on
back on a plane.
Snakes on another plane.
There you go.
Because it's not the same plane. That plane was destroyed.
I suppose it wouldn't be. Yeah.
It'd have to be
that one went down. Be snakes on a boat.
Snakes on a boat.
Bears on a
like Speed. Speed went from a bus to a boat, and go from a plane to a boat.
Yeah, but look what happened to Speed when that happened. They got Tim Conway and nobody went and saw the movie.
Yeah, that's the one time Keanu Reeves, people were like, he's an idiot for not doing this movie. And then he didn't do the movie, and people were like, oh, maybe he's a lot smarter than we thought.
The smartest man alive.
Yep, for like a minute.
Bad.
Well, you know what? No, the smartest man alive, Adrian Zmed.
Because he wasn't in Speed 2?
That's true. because he's avoided look at all the bad movies Adrian Zmed has avoided being in. In fact, look at all of the movies in general that Adrian Zmed has avoided being in, just across the board.
Now you're just making me sad. Let's move on to the George story.
Let's do the George story. Sean, you going to give us a good one here or what?
Well, there are two.
All right. Well,
I don't think.
Give me one of them. Give me the first one. Let's get the first one.
Okay. It was actually when we were still living in Philly. I went to a friend's Halloween party, and George came to pick me up in his black trench coat. I think it was not even cold, but he had to wear the black trench coat with the black turtleneck underneath. And Zede Cavaricci's.
Oh,
That's important.
We get the setting for when this took place. 2004. Move on. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. It was obviously this was in the early 90s. I'm assuming, right?
Early 90s. Yeah, he still had the boot. He still had the boot hair going.
Go ahead.
So he went and picked me up from a friend's house, and we were walking back, and some guy stops us on the side of the road in South Philly, and he goes, "Do you know who some guy kid is?" And George looks at him and goes, "No, I don't know what he's talking about." Guy goes, "Do you know who this sleeping guy is?" And George looks at him and goes, "Again, I told you, I don't know who the hell you're talking about." All of a sudden, the guy whips out a .38, loaded, and pulls the hammer back and is like, "Do you know who this person is?" Now, my friend was with me, weighed about 160 pounds at age 11. Took off running 3 blocks down.
Right.
Now, I'm still sitting there looking like...
Something I would do, by the way.
Right. I'm just sitting there and just like, what's going on? And George listens and goes, "Run. I got it." I'm like, okay. And I started walking away, and he's just sitting there looking down the barrel of 38 with, like, no expression at all. And then just tells the guy, he goes, "Take off." He goes, "Or something, take off, or it's not going to end out well for you." And they actually went to a pizzeria near us that knew people who knew George. All of a sudden, 6 people come out with bats, and guy takes off. We finally found my friend 3 blocks later, about to die from a cardiac arrest. And a cop stops us. George knows the cop. Surprisingly.
He knows all the cops.
Right. Cop says, "What happened?" He goes, "What's he look like? What was the description?" "All right, hold on." Gets on the radio and goes, "Yeah, I need an APB out on a 1986 Monte Carlo." What the guy look like again? Come find out 3 hours later, cops knock at the door to take Mom and George down to the police station. They call it the guy like 3 hours later.
Nice.
The fact that George just looked there stone cold at a .38 loaded and just was like, that's cool.
Well, I mean,
another day.
Yeah, another day in South Philly.
Well, yeah, and him going, "Are you going to use it or just whip it out for show?"
Pretty much kind of like Kurt Russell in Tombstone.
You going to do something or just stand there and bleed?
I think that may be, there are two, that's close to the personality that George had, but the best example of it, and even the way he looks, is James Spader in a movie called 2 Days in the Valley. He plays a hitman in this movie.
See that.
And his thing is, he's such a badass, and he's so cold that he will, before he kills someone, he'll get him in position where he's going to shoot him, and then he'll pull out a stopwatch and say, "You have 1 minute left to live. What are you going to do with the rest of your life?" Click. And when the minute's up, in the movie, he kills him. And not that George was a person that went around killing people or anything like that, except it never happened. He didn't do that.
As far as we know.
But, well, but it was just his demeanor and the way he carried himself. He was so cocky, but not arrogant, but just so self-assured.
Yeah, I don't think if cocky is the right word for it. He was just,
confident,
self-assured.
Yeah. He was just so confident that nothing was gonna intersect with his world that he wasn't going to be in control of, and it made him a little scary. He was a little frightening in that respect. So I actually saw him stare down the barrel of a gun as well that someone pulled on us at a bowling alley, Don Carter's bowling alley one night, and I went ducking off behind a concrete wall.
You're in the ball return.
Well, and he stood there, and actually at this point he wasn't threatening at all. He just said, "Come on, there's no reason for that. I mean, what you're going to ruin your whole life. You're going to just ruin everything if you do anything with that. Just put it away and drive away, and no one calls the cops, no one goes to jail, no one gets hurt, nothing happens. It just, you just did something stupid. Don't do something stupider." And sure enough, they, cooler heads prevailed, and it worked out. Now my story for the week is, I promised last week to tell a face biting story.
You did.
Okay. And I can't believe that you don't know this story.
I've never heard this story.
All right.
I'm the audience right now.
Okay.
Hashtag Beans is listening.
Okay. So you got that one? All right. So we go to a party one night. One of the, a big party. Guy that we work with, guy that we know, his dad owned a hotel down on the beach. Okay. So we all go down. It's like, yeah, guys, come down, hang out. It'll be great. We'll have a few drinks and just kind of party and stuff. Have this hotel room, which isn't really a hotel room so much as like a ballroom at the top of these stairs, like a pool room, game room or something. Huge space. So we go up there and we're all hanging out and we're having this party or whatever. And, everyone's drinking. I'm talking to this guy we work with. I'm not going to name any names. And there was also a son of a very famous Major League Baseball player with us at the time. I'm not going to name names again, but if he's listening, he knows he was there.
Hashtag no lawsuits, please.
Yes. Well, I mention this only because he had the line of the night. And it was pretty freaking hilarious. And he was hammered as well, and it was hilarious. So I was not myself drinking because I don't, obviously no drinking and driving. Someone's got to drive everyone home. That happened to be me that night, so I'm not drinking. Well, I'm talking to this guy, and I guess one of his friends had showed up, and they're drunk, and he decided he wanted to pick on me, wanted to start a fight with me, and he was a wrestler. So the guy dives at me and grabs me by the waist, grabs me around the legs, and I was with my back to the bar.
Your legs and your waist?
Well, he grabbed me around like my thighs, and he tried to pick me up, but I grabbed the bar that's behind me just with my back hands, and I just kind of prevent him from actually lifting me up in the air and doing God knows what to me. And I'm kind of struggling a little bit, and I'm like, hey, listen, man, you better stop that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Let me go. Just cut it out. Thinking that this guy's just fooling around, and he's getting real serious, and he's like, and finally, I'm like, this dude really better stop, because if George sees this guy, he's going to get hurt. He's not going to take this as he's playing around, And sure enough, he walks over, taps the guy on the shoulder as he's grabbing me, leans down and says, "Why don't you stand up and try that shit with me?" So this guy stands up, and George takes a step back, and he looks at him. And I've never actually seen anyone get the drop on him. This was the only time I ever saw it. This guy was really, really fast, and everyone, again, was drunk. Before I knew, he reached around, grabbed him. He went to grab him on the waist, and he moved, and he grabbed him around like the neck. So they each have each other kind of in a headlock, and they're kind of fighting around like that. And next thing I know, they go to the ground. And on the ground, the guy's got George on the ground, and he's kind of pinned on him. He's like kind of pinned on top of him, like you see in an MMA fight, Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, these fists come out. Like he lets him go, and you see these two fists pop up.
Like the Incredible Hulk.
No, not like the Incredible Hulk, but you see his hands pop up real fast, and this guy's still wrestling around with George. He's got him like he's grabbing him like around the neck, and he's choking him a little bit. And all of a sudden, he just starts punching. George starts punching him, and he's punching the crap out of us. He's punching him in the kidneys, the back. He's hitting him in the head. He's hitting him in the face. He's just beating this guy senseless. And then the next thing you know, the guy jumps up, screaming, and I mean screaming, and he says, "I lost my contact lens. I've got to find my contact lens." And that's when I noticed.
I've used that to get out of fights.
Well, that's when I noticed on his cheek, where he had been pressed up, where they had been pressed up against each other, there was like a hole. There was like a big flap of skin kind of hanging down and like a hole almost.
Like Cape Fear style. He just got a chunk out of his cheek.
Yeah. Basically, this guy was choking him out, and he was about to pass out. And he couldn't believe that, he was hitting him so hard and he wasn't moving. I mean, the guy was huge. But normally, he hit someone once, as I told you all last week, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he didn't get a good face shot on him, but he was beating him pretty hard. And, I feel like he kind of had no choice, and that's what he said. He didn't have a choice. He had to do what he had to do because this guy he was going to be unconscious, and then who knows, right? Yeah. And again, he's not going to allow it to happen. So took a chunk of this guy's face out, okay? So he stands up, and he says to the guy, he says, first he spits out the guy's face, part of his face, his cheek. told you not to try that shit with me. And, and the guy's just like, yeah, I think I lost my contact, man. I think I lost my contact. And so I can see really clearly that this guy is not aware, really, either A, of what happened to him, B, he's so afraid that he doesn't want to acknowledge it, and C, we should get out of there. So I grab everyone, and I start hustling everyone out the door, of course, before George can continue to explain to this guy anything. I just don't want them to interact anymore. I grab him, and I start walking him out the door, and we get everyone out the door. And as we're walking out the door, the son of the famous major leaguer, hammered out of his mind, we close the door. He says, hold on, wait. Opens the door, leans back in and says, oh, hey, bro, you may want to go to the hospital and have them take a part of your ass and stitch it to your face. And then slams the door, and then we left.
Nice.
Yeah. So a little bit more violent and a little less funny, perhaps, than the previous story.
Well, I'm nauseous. I don't know about everyone else.
Well, you do what you got to do. I mean, that's,
Hashtag Beans is nauseous.
Hashtag Frank apologizes to Beans for making him nauseous.
That's very long. I don't think that'll fit on Twitter.
Oh.
140 characters.
I have a lot of problems like that. Okay, so Sean, did he ever bite anyone when he was growing up with you?
No, he would never bite me. George would do this stuff where, since he was always obviously much larger than me, he would just pin me down and just be like, you're not getting up.
All right.
No bites that
Good.
I know of or can recall. The only thing I know he did do is he did try to light me on fire when I was in my crib.
Okay. That's a story perhaps we're not going to tell.
Yeah,
that just makes him sound really, really bad. I mean, I guess we're probably giving this image off of him as being this.
I actually just watched The Good Son the other night. That's all I'm picturing now.
But, wasn't really like that at all. He was actually just more protective.
Except for when he tried to set a baby.
Well,
other than that,
he was young. I mean, he was a kid. What did he know?
He tried to start the fire underneath the crib. They came in and put it out before it got any bigger than anything. So, no, there were protective moments that he was.
See, for me, that was most of the time. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that was his main, No,
he did a lot of that. Like, I remember I was 10 and had severe sunburn all over my back and face, and he actually would carry me up and down the stairs from the couch to my room because I couldn't get up.
And then tried to set him on fire.
Well, because he
sunburn's not that bad now, is it?
Right, because he appreciated the irony of the fact that he had tried to incinerate his brother mere years before. All right, Sean, I am glad you called in. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward. I want you to save that other story for next week.
It's more of a funny one too. It's not the violent one, so it'll be more of a humorous. It's a kind of it's a George side story. He had a part in it, but he's not the main focus of the story. But he's a major contributor to the events that happen. All
right, so I'll tell you what, we'll get that one next week. I look forward to it. I'll come back with a good one too, and I think I'm gonna go for one, that's more like the carrying his sunburned brother up and down the stairs as opposed to attempting to set his brother on fire and biting off someone's face.
Babies on fire.
Yeah.
Imitating, Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, that's paint those images.
All right. Well, Sean, thank you very much for calling in, and I'll talk to you a little bit later on.
All right, guys. You guys take care, and I will talk to you later and see you at some point.
All right.
Take care, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sean. We thank him for calling in. And, we got our little George fix in there.
Yep.
So I do want to move back on to our Who to Get segment, because you actually had something when we were talking earlier. You mentioned who you were thinking of getting.
Yes.
And the reasons why, and I think this is such a great subject to talk about. I really want to get into it, so I'm going to let you take it. Beans, go ahead.
Well, it was just one of my favorite shows of the 80s was Max Headroom, which just came out on DVD this week, and I've been watching it again, and it holds up. It's really great. It's still 20 minutes into the future, which is impressive. And I was thinking about it, and I realized that Max Headroom was a huge star in the 80s. Yes. He was everywhere. He was the face of New Coke. He was all over the place. Regrettably, yes.
But good point, and he's very much an 80s icon.
Yes. But what I was thinking about was the fact that while he was famous, Matt Frewer wasn't.
Matt Frewer.
And Matt Frewer was the man behind the makeup. He was Max Headroom. And I started thinking about it because I always liked Matt Frewer. Like I went and saw Lawnmower Man 2 just because he was the star of it.
Wow.
Yes, I know. So I've paid for my Matt Frewer fandom. He was on a great little sitcom called Dr. Doctor that nobody remembers.
39 episodes from 1989 to 1991.
Okay, you remember it, but most people don't remember.
I remember looking at IMDb earlier today in anticipation of discussing Max Headroom. Because
I watched that show religiously. I thought it was great. Max Headroom only lasted about 13 episodes until it was put in the Friday night death slot opposite Miami Vice and got trounced.
Which, okay, bit of irony here, okay? Apparently, and I'm going off of what I've researched about the show because I remember the show and I definitely remember Max Headroom, and I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate the same experience. You know who he is. You know, everyone knows Max Headroom. If you were alive in the 80s, you remember. If you've seen Back to the Future Part 2, you remember. Okay, but the show was so far ahead of its time in the way that it related to media and celebrity now, which basically the show, they never gave the specifics for what time frame it was or what year it was, but it was generally accepted that it's around 2004, 2005, based on the age of one of the characters and such, which would put us right into sort of the beginning, the real explosion of this obsession with fake celebrity and how this has become so prevalent. And it's really amazing to me. Now I'm really interested to go back and watch this show again. I mean, I do like Matt Frewer. I like Max Headroom. But now there's a whole new reason to watch. And I think that's the thing that that's why people should be interested in it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and there's some really cool stuff with Max Headroom. Obviously his name is Max Headroom because, I guess you can explain it better than I can.
Well, the storyline basically was he was this guy Edison Carter was an investigative reporter, and he found out that the media network he was working for was actually killing people with this type of advertising they were doing.
Called
Blipverts.
Right.
And the Blipverts were basically found out a way to compress 30-second commercials into 3 seconds or 6 seconds or something like that. And when certain people watched them, generally people who are built like your old friend Beans, the less mobile people you find out there, couch potatoes in a word or two, when they watched them, it would actually cause them to explode because of the way it counteracted their neurons or what have you.
Interesting.
And he found out about this, and there was a whole thing, big chase scene. Getting killed. He crashed his motorcycle, and the last thing he saw was a sign that said Max Headroom, which is the British way of saying clearance. But it was a British show, and you get Max Headroom.
Yeah, I guess not a lot of people realize that it was a British show, actually.
Yeah, originally, he was created to host a British music show. That was how Max Headroom came to be. The character itself was just supposed to be a music video host because, the age of music video was just dawning. This was in the early to mid-'80s. And he was a supposedly cybernetic host. He lived in your TV and he would host the music video show. So,
which isn't, that's something that absolutely is, that's reality at this point. That's
exactly.
very, yeah.
And they built a movie around him in Britain. It was an hour-long TV movie called 20 Minutes into the Future, where they just sort of, built this story of Max Headroom, which then became the very short-lived ABC show. The first episode of the ABC show is basically a remake of the British movie, just with a little less nastiness.
Okay.
They even reused some of the footage. It's pretty close. And
what's crazy is the Blipverts thing, okay, that sort of advertising has actually been done.
Oh, sure.
And it's been utilized even by have the subliminal advertising or whatever, and I think GE did one like that.
When I saw that, the first thing I thought of was Blipverts, which should tell you how much I watched Max Headroom when I was a kid.
Well, and just the whole idea that, here they are in 87, 88, and I guess the character really was 85 when the character
84,
really,
85 or so.
85, yeah. Here they are 25 years ago, okay, and they're setting something, essentially 20 years in the future, and they're getting the whole media issue pretty close. I mean, not exactly, but pretty close. When you think about the fact that Max Headroom was created in reality to be a TV pitchman, like you say, and to host music videos and be a personality, right? So he's an artificial creation of a media company to drive product, basically, to sell product, okay?
And the pitchman became the star.
The only difference between Max Headroom and Kim Kardashian is that Max Headroom never made a sleazy sex tape.
Also, Max Headroom was interesting.
And talented and funny.
Yes.
And had a reason to be famous, actually.
And Max Headroom had a real person under all the makeup.
Right, that's true. That's true. So anyway, but it leads to the point of, yes, they essentially, this show predated and kind of predicted the whole false celebrity, I'm famous because I'm famous kind of thing, which I just can't freaking stand. I hate that.
Fame for being famous?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Have a purpose. Do something. I mean, you said last week, why the hell do I know who Heidi Montag is? I don't know why the hell I know who that is. Because she's on my TV every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I care. It doesn't, there's no value there.
There's no reason I should even know Snooki's name, which I don't. I only know the name Snooki. I assume there's an actual name there somewhere. But maybe not. Maybe she's like Moses, just has the one name.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You know what? You know what she can never do? Work at Warner Bros. You know why? Bugs Bunny will eat her.
Because she's orange?
Like a carrot.
I get that.
What's up, Doc? That is some banter. That's some banter right there. You can't fake that.
All right, back to Matt Frewer.
Yeah, let's continue to talk about this this amazing and way ahead of its time show.
Yeah. But it's always been fascinating to me that Max Headroom became such a big star and people never got interested in the person behind him. Because his personality, that was all Matt Frewer.
Yeah, I think part of that, though, because, okay, even when you and I were talking, and I didn't even know this. I'm admitting, I didn't even know this, but because Max Headroom was not actually computer generated, just the background.
Right.
You were telling me, right? Just the background is generated, and it was just Matt Frewer in some crazy makeup.
It was all makeup. He was not actually CGI. The CGI to make a character like him sort of existed at the time, but not really. They actually started out on the show, there was like a CGI parrot that was the precursor to him, and that was actually CGI, and you can tell that looks very cartoony and such. But Max Headroom was it was all makeup. They couldn't, on a TV budget in that time, they couldn't afford. You could actually, the cityscape on the show is CGI. And you can see how just, blocky and incredibly, false it looks. But,
well, at the time, the PCs that they used in the show, not to make the show, because all the backgrounds and all that were made with every nerd in the world loves him some Commodore, hashtag Amiga. AMIG. Anyway, like Amigo, but like a fake Amigo. You know what I mean? Like Prado, except backwards. Amigo.
Isn't a lady Amigo an Amiga?
Is it?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't speak
Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. Damn you. All right. Okay, anyway, the computers, the top-of-the-line computers they were using at Network 23, which was the network that they worked at, they were Commodore 128s. And a 128 was 128 kilobytes. You have more processing power in your dishwasher, right, than they had in their PCs back in 1987.
Yep. So, and also just would have been prohibitively expensive to have a computer-generated person on TV all week.
Yeah,
every week. So it was just heavy makeup, but they made sure that it was angular and blocky so that it would look like he was CGI, and he became the face of the computer revolution. He was the face of CGI. People thought that he was genuinely I think people thought that there was no actor. People seem to think that he genuinely was computer generated.
Well, I knew that Matt Frewer was Max Headroom, but I assumed, especially now, because when
people thought that maybe he was just the voice.
Right, that's what I thought.
Like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I figured he was animated and that Max himself was animated and Frewer just did the voice. But interesting, and that could be why people, didn't associate him with the character as much.
But it's a shame because he's an incredibly talented dude, and I'd love to talk to him.
I would also like to talk to Matt Frewer.
Last I saw him was in Watchmen. I don't know what else he's been in lately, but he was good, and I miss him.
All right. So, hey, Matt Frewer, if you're out there, and we know that you are, although you probably aren't listening, but hopefully you are. 347-326-9700 if anybody wants to call in. He's on Twitter. Let's tweet. Like, can we send him a direct message and tell him we can't?
We can't send him a direct message, but we can tweet to him.
Let's tweet to Matt Frewer.
I also need to follow him on my own. I love that guy.
Yeah, we'll follow him on Twitter. By the way, if you want to ask questions via Twitter, you can do that too. Twitter.com/FrankTheUnicorn. And all right, so some dead air there, man.
That is a little bit of dead air.
We'll fill that up. We gotta pump it up, man, like a Nike turkey.
A Nike turkey?
Old Chris Rock SNL commercial. You gotta pump.
Oh, right.
You gotta pump.
I remember that.
Sadly, most of what Chris Rock did around that time, 88, 89, 90, when he was first on SNL, didn't really.
I'm still surprised he was able to fit in the studio with the fade. He had the highest high top fade beside a Kid and Play.
He did. Hashtag giant fade. Let's throw that one out there. Maybe we'll get Chris Rock to call into the show.
Or maybe Matt Frewer will shave his head into a giant fade.
You know, that could help him with a career comeback.
I hope so.
Would also increase? That
would increase the chances for Lawnmower Man 3.
I was going to say he would need more Max Headroom. Because his hair would be taller.
I get it, but it just wasn't very funny, so I'm not commenting on it.
All right, well, you don't have to comment if you don't want to. I'm just passing notes back and forth here with the producer about Max Headroom, trying to get some more info on it. But yeah, there were.
But the show itself was fascinating in that it's all about, a media-generated celebrity. In that he became this big celebrity not because of anything he said or anything he did, but just because
he was there.
He was what was on TV.
Right.
And the ratings was how it worked for Network 23. And he became famous for being famous. And it was, commentary on the prefab pop stars of the time, but that hasn't changed.
And it's very unlikely that it will. I think it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, as we go through this.
Especially in this age of reality TV with reality in quotes.
Well, yeah, all reality TV is actually scripted. Take it from someone who filmed a couple of reality TV pilots. There's a script. Everything is set up. It's not when you...
Hashtag...
Well, come on.
How do you...
Oh, stop that.
But
even some of the episodes, okay? Like there was an episode they did about a woman who was kidnapped so that they could steal her organs, so and that actually has happened. There was a whole thing that was uncovered about this organ trade going on in India where they kidnap these poor people off the street. Rich people pay to kidnap these poor people off the street and take their kidneys and livers and whatever else. And that actually happened. There was an episode where a terrorist group claimed responsibility for these series of televised bombings. And it turns out that the terrorists actually are working for this rival TV station, and they've been faking the TV explosions to boost their ratings. And we've seen, obviously, a lot of news media manipulation and a lot of media manipulation, and it really started back then in the 80s because that's when the consolidation of media really started.
Yeah.
And for us, this is an important topic because we are now members of the media in some small way. With our little show here, we're members of the media, and we have our responsibility, even though we're talking about goofy stuff, for the most part, TV shows and making fun of women's magazines, but we have our responsibility as well as members of the media to point out that, 90% of all the media in this country is owned by 6 different entities.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not getting a lot of sources necessarily, in the way that you used to. You're not getting the objectivity the way that you used to, and that's problematic. And that is also something that, in that episode, Max Headroom touched on, again, 20 years prior to this being the case.
Sure.
So really something that I think everyone should check out.
And even just the onslaught of advertising, it hardly seems like blipverts aren't really a thing, because
pretty much
when you turn on your computer, the first thing you see is banner ads and running ads, and even Twitter, there's sponsored tweets. And, everywhere you go, you're getting hit with nothing but advertising. Talk about things like these magazines or the movies we've been talking about, even the fact that, My Headroom came out on DVD this week. This isn't product placement. We're not getting paid for this.
Right.
Sad to say. But, I mean, everywhere you go, you're hounded by advertising. You can't even play a game on your phone without a little banner ad popping up.
Yeah, well, I mean, information is gold. I mean, that's what information and bandwidth really.
But
right
I just want to play Angry Birds.
Well, you can play.
I don't want it to tell me that I have to buy stuff.
Okay, and also too, the last episode, and this is really really cool. The last episode of the show actually was about
# spoiler alert.
Well, I'm not going to reveal the episode, but it was about genetically engineered babies. It was about people paying to genetically engineer their children. And again,
so it was about the Kardashians.
Well, no, they weren't genetically engineered. They were all modified well after they were already made, but
still counts.
Okay, but you know, that
designer genes.
That is something that's on the cusp of becoming a thing. You know, is gene function and picking out, do you want blue eyes or brown eyes or green or whatever. Manipulation is not far off.
So motherhood is becoming Build-A-Bear?
It pretty much. I mean, the potential exists for that to happen. Let's just say that. And so for them to, again, be on the edge of that, you know. All right, let's do this. I want to get into, because Max Headroom, obviously, now looking back, is an interesting part of, obviously, the 80s. He's an icon of the 80s. Beyond just the fact that of the show, but just the character itself. Mm-hmm. So let's relate that historically, to our history, and let's segment into the week in history.
Segue. You got to stop segmenting.
Oh, sorry. You know what?
You can't segment into something.
I'm a unicorn.
I'm going to eschew that.
All right, let's eschew that and get into our week in history. So, August 8th, 1974, Richard M. Nixon resigns.
Bummer.
Bummer?
Not really. Not really.
No. The bummer, anyway. All right, yeah, Nixon resigned. And again, you know, good to mention now, or a good thing to connect here, because if you want to talk about sort of the blueprint of media manipulation, okay, obviously Nixon, you know, you look at what happened to Nixon, okay, he was busted because a reporter happened to be in a jail and happened to recognize some guys who had gotten arrested for a break-in. And that's how this whole ball of wax, or this whole, ball of string got unwound. You know, that's where this all started from. You look at our media now, that would never occur. That story would get killed. Watergate would never come out. None of that would be known.
I don't think that's true.
I think it would get buried. I think it would get buried.
Horse hockey.
I really do. Well, think about it. I mean, look at what's happened since, okay? Let's look at what has happened since.
Everything comes out. We live in an age where, you can't get away with anything anymore. Everyone's got their cell phone camera trained right on you.
Okay, but here's the thing. That's making us less reactive when we see these type of things. It makes it less shocking because people are exposed to it so much more, so that when these things come out, they're not surprised. Why is there not more? I mean, again, I don't want to get political, but did you imagine in the 70s the Abu Ghraib picture came out, right? I mean, people were completely out of their minds. Now we're so desensitized to that. We're so desensitized to that, and that's part of this with the media. So let's get on from that, because we're getting a little too serious, I guess. We're getting some tweets that we're getting too serious. So August 9th, Jerry Garcia dies, 1995.
Way to not get serious.
Right. Here's the thing. I don't believe that Jerry Garcia actually died. Because Crazy Dave and I, in 1996, a year after Jerry Garcia supposedly died, we're in a pizza place in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and I swear to God, Jerry Garcia was eating at the booth next to us.
Did you notice if he was missing the finger?
Noticed that. Although we did ask him if he was Jerry Garcia, and he laughed at us.
I would have too, because you are silly, for he is dead.
I know, but we wanted him to still be with us. All right, August 10th, 18...
Did we? I've never really been a Grateful Dead guy.
No, I like them. I dig them.
I don't know. I can't get into them.
They're not for everybody.
Rambly.
Rambly. Well, look, okay. Look, what do you think I'm doing here?
You are rambly.
I'm so rambly.
I'll give you that.
I'm almost an all brother.
Maybe you should wear tie dye.
Actually.
Maybe you should lose a finger.
Are you offering to cut one off, or are you threatening me? I think that might be. Okay. So in August 1846, the Smithsonian was created.
That's neat.
That's awesome. I love the Smithsonian. spend pretty much every other
Mr.
weekend.
Rogers' cardigan is there. That is awesome.
And Fonzie's jacket. And Archie Bunker's chair. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff in the Smithsonian. I love it.
Is Archie Bunker's chair in a place where you can actually sit in it?
No, but you
That's
cannot
a
sit in
shame.
it. But you can.
I want to sit in Archie. I don't want to see it. I want to sit in it.
You cannot. You are not allowed to.
I
sit
want
in
to
it.
sit in it and say terrible
It's
things
actually
about
got plexiglass around.
people.
It's got plexiglass. It's surrounded.
different people.
It's surrounded by. I don't know. I love the Smithsonian. I grew up there basically. Every other week I spent at the Smithsonian. That's how I know so much random, useless crap about everything. Not everything. A lot of stuff.
There goes our sponsorship from the Smithsonian.
I love the Smithsonian. Are you kidding me? The Smithsonian's great.
Yeah, but you just call them useless.
They're not useless. They're a fantastic
I swear
resource.
you.
Without the Smithsonian, we wouldn't have the Hope Diamond. Without the Smithsonian, we wouldn't have the giant squid that's on display in the Museum of Natural History.
You know what else we wouldn't have? Archie Bunker's chair.
That's right.
Can't sit in.
That's right. You also wouldn't be able to see.
Call people meatheads.
They have a turbine car there. There was a brief period in the 60s.
Is that the Batmobile?
No. There was
Turbines to power.
no. There really was a brief period in the 60s where
Burt Ward told me so.
there were car companies were experimenting with turbine engines, and they have a
That's
turbine car, production car in the Smithsonian. It's really
Did George Barris build it?
no.
He should have.
I believe it was I think it's actually a Dodge. I'm pretty sure it's a Dodge if I recall correctly.
Fat.
So okay, August 11th, 1994, Major League Strike begins. World Series is canceled.
Bummer.
It is a bummer, but there's nothing funny there, so we're going to move on. August 12th, 1990, T-Rex discovered in South Dakota, 90% complete. The most complete T-Rex ever discovered. They named it Sally, but they're unable to determine its gender. Imagine that. They find a skeleton of a creature that hasn't existed in, 100 million years, and they can't determine its gender. You know what they ought to do? Call David Caruso, because CSI Miami, they would not only be able to tell you what gender that skeleton was, they'd also be able to tell you how it spent its last, 6-7 minutes on Earth.
Probably true.
What it had, what did it eat, what it was doing.
Then he's put on his shades and say something snarky.
Yep, and walk away. And cut. I think that's the most heard thing on the set of CSI Miami.
Probably.
Or, no, it's actually probably more sunscreen. I don't know. Okay. August 13th, 1961 was divided. Now, here's a funny bit. JFK made a speech, a famous speech, in June of 1963 at the Berlin Wall. Yes, he said, "Ich bin ein Berliner," and a Berliner is a type of cream-filled
pastry.
Yeah.
I am a donut.
Donut. He said, "I'm a donut."
I can say this because I am a donut. It's okay. We can call each other that, but he shouldn't be saying that.
But he didn't just say, "I'm a donut." He said, "I am a donut." He was Mayor Quimby from. Anyway.
I was just gonna say.
Yep. August 14th, 2003, blackout hits the Northeast. 90 million people lose power.
That's a lot of power.
That is a lot of power. You know what they did when they didn't have power?
Made babies, I would imagine.
They ate donuts.
And made babies. A lot of blackout babies.
You think so?
Oh, sure.
If you're a blackout...
Guarantee you 9 months later...
If you're a blackout baby or have a blackout baby, call 347-326-9700.
All I know is Blackout Baby is now the name of my new band.
That's awesome. It's well, is Blackout Baby too close to Fall Out Boy? No?
God, I hope not.
I hope not either. But, no, I guess Blackout Baby works.
Though
Hashtag Blackout Baby.
I have to admire any band who names themselves after a Simpsons reference.
I agree.
I got it.
And a pretty obscure one. Which was good. And because it's Millhouse. So it's not even...
Oh, the house always wins.
The house always wins. I do love me some Millhouse. You know what drives me crazy, though? There's an episode where Millhouse teaches Lisa how to speak Italian. And all of a sudden, Millhouse is like Mr. Playboy, speaking Italian, getting the ladies, living large with the,
as it should be.
But it's Millhouse.
I don't... The house always wins.
It's still Millhouse. It's still Millhouse. So it just doesn't...
The house always wins.
Yes. Okay, hashtag the house always wins. Let's do that. So, okay. The week in history, there's just not a lot of funny stuff with blackouts and speeches at Berlin Wall.
Well, then you've been in the wrong blackouts, my friend.
Well, actually, I've been in a few blackouts. And,
I've actually heard those stories.
No,
those were funny.
No, sir. I don't like them at all. So, okay. Bust magazine. Let's get into Bust. Okay, we're going to get into our magazines a little bit here.
Okay.
Yeah. We have an hour and a minute, okay? So we're gonna dig into bust a little bit. We're gonna dig into glamour. We'll make
Hey,
it fun.
listeners, give us a call.
347-326-9700.
I'm sorry. Hey, listener, give us a call.
Twitter.com/Frank the Unicorn if you want to get in on the action. One thing I love about Bust is the first thing that I saw when I opened it was a ad that says, "Love unicorns, want to tell everyone." Not that it's me or a reference to us in any way, but unicorns are so hot right now. They really are. Unicorns are totally hot right now.
Totally?
Totally hot. Unicorns are like the newest, coolest thing, which is really funny to me because I've never been considered the newest, coolest thing. I've never been considered cool at all.
I can tell you right now, all those people who didn't consider you cool, they were 100% right.
They were 100% right.
104%.
Actually, they're wrong. You know why they're wrong? Because I hang out with you.
There you go.
Since I hang out with you, my temperature has actually dropped, and it's made me cooler.
I'm lovable.
I'm not to the point where I can hold ice cream in my hands without melting it the way that you can.
I can.
You know, I can actually cream, sugar, and strawberries in your hand, and you just rub your hands together, and bam, instant ice cream. It's there. That's how cool you are. You're so cool, you're covered in rock salt. That's how cool you are, because you just don't melt.
All right, moving on.
Permanent frosty. Okay, we're below an hour. We've got 59 minutes left on the show. 347-326-9700 if you want to give a call in. Twitter.
Even if you don't want to give a call in, call us anyway.
Twitter.com.
What else are you doing?
/Frank.
You're listening to us. What else are you doing?
Well, we can continue to talk about Willie Aames, or we could talk about Max Headroom some more. No, Max.
There's only 13 episodes. I think we ran out of Max.
We've pretty much killed.
We could talk about Dr. Doctor, but you didn't watch it.
You know what? I think
if you had watched Dr. Doctor, it would still be on the air.
If it would still
Julius J. Carey III would be working right now.
And it would be on the air 20 plus years after it premiered as a sitcom.
It would.
It would be The Simpsons of its day.
It would be the Law and Order of sitcoms.
All right, real quick. I'm gonna since no one's calling us, which kind of I don't know. Anyway, 347-326-9700. I was gonna
maybe if you say the number a little faster.
347-326-9700.
Barry Allen couldn't write that down.
I am going to go ahead and I got sent the link. Well, no. I got sent. Come on, man. I got sent the link. I was arrested but never convicted. All right, so I've never been arrested. I have not been arrested, which is good. I was going to mention this next week, but I got sent this thing. I'm going to go ahead and do it now.
Enjoy.
Okay, 10 reasons it would rule to date a unicorn, and this is created by Matthew Inman for Mingle, and the link is mingle2.com/dating/unicorn. And unfortunately, this is not
whoever is sitting at their computer typing and puts the words dating and unicorn together.
I don't know.
I mean, who over 14 puts those words together?
Thank you.
Our producer just raised her hand.
That's great. All right. So, well, she's married to a unicorn, so I mean that kind of makes sense. But all right, so 10 reasons it would rule to date a unicorn, and we're just going to run through these. I'm going to dispel a few myths here. And again, Matthew Inman from Mingle. Reason 1, they fart glitter.
Unpleasant.
So here we are. We're about 5 hours in to our program, and we get our first fart reference. They fart glitter. No, we don't. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. That does not happen. I assure you.
But you poop vajazzle?
Well, again, I'm like Dave Chappelle. I put diamonds in my food, so my, so it sparkles. But there's no glitter. There's no glitter. That's not good. Reason 2, better TV reception. Okay, you can't really use a unicorn horn as a television antenna. Although it is true that a unicorn horn is the hardest substance on Earth, and it cannot be cut even by a diamond. So it's very mysterious in that way.
I always thought Shaq was the hardest substance on Earth.
No. Okay, reason 3, easily disguisable as a rhino to avoid suspicion. That is true. You can actually disguise yourself as a rhino. This is why we're so tight with thetherhino.com. They've got horns. It all works. Yeah, okay. Reason 4, they're good for exercise. And
There's a little cartoon of a guy here doing a pull-up off a rhino horn. I just had to share that.
Well, that's a unicorn.
Unicorn horn.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was disguised as a rhino. I got confused.
Right. Well, in the previous, yeah. We don't like this. We really don't like this at all. This can be done. We don't like it, and there are more effective ways to work out. And while we're at it, really don't like the ring toss thing. Okay. Really don't like when people throw stuff to try to get it around the horn. It's really annoying. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. Unicorns don't like it. Please don't do it. Just be respectful of us. You know, like if you had I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. Okay, reason 5, when you eat their feces, it prolongs your life. I don't think that's true.
Can
However,
we redo that beans is nauseous hashtag?
I don't think that's true, and I hope to God no one ever attempts to find out.
Put the bowl down.
Yes, that's not, no. Okay. Reason 6, they can turn mosquitoes into Skittles and jelly beans. Well, that's just false. That's absolutely false. They're gumdrops. They turn into spiced gumdrops. I don't know where they get the Skittles and jelly beans from. That just doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Who would think that I could take my horn and turn a mosquito into a jelly bean or a Skittle? Come on. Everybody knows it's a spiced gumdrop. I scoff at that. I eschew that reason. Entirely false. Reason 7, they make okay parachutes. No, we don't. And let me just say, because our producer is going skydiving possibly in a couple of weeks here, we do not make good parachutes. Do not try to parachute with a unicorn. It will end in disaster. I assure you.
Why would you jump out of a perfectly good plane?
I would never jump out of a perfectly good plane. I would never jump out of any plane unless it was on fire and extremely close to the ground.
Okay, that I can understand.
Like parked on the ground and on fire, then I might jump out.
But even so, I can't imagine why anyone goes skydiving.
They must hate themselves. I don't know. I don't understand. I guess the rush of it. I don't know. Why?
No, it's the rush of being able to do something that really you're literally free falling for a few seconds.
Right, but
that's amazing.
But like the incredibly brilliant Norm Macdonald always says, that there's only 2 possible outcomes. There's only 2 levels of skydiving.
Right.
There's grand champion or stuff on a rock.
And what else in life
There's
is
nothing in
that
between.
cut? You get to jump out of the plane. You have 2 options. You make it or you don't.
There are a lot of things that
There's
are that.
a pretty big shot of don't.
There are a lot of things that are clear cut. You know, that you would have a 50-50 chance on. But I'm not going to take the chance.
Right.
On it. It just doesn't make sense.
If I smash this bottle and stab Frank here with it, there's a decent chance that he will make it or he won't.
And I know you're considering doing that now, but please put the bottle down.
I don't know that I can.
It's risk reward.
You're gonna die either way.
Okay.
You might as well do it this week.
Hey, look, it's risk reward, and I don't think the reward is worth the risk. I don't think the reward of free falling for a few seconds.
The reward is that you keep going like you would have this morning without jumping out of a plane.
The reward is you get the few seconds of free falling, which again I don't think is worth the risk of stuff on a rock.
I don't know that that's
or worse, worse than stuff on a rock, impaled on a tree, or a fence post.
That would.
Oh my God! What if you jumped out of the plane and you landed on Willie Aames?
Or ended up like that dude from the Glimmer Man, upside down on the sands.
Oh God, yeah.
That's gonna hurt. See?
Yeah.
I want you to think about that before you jump out of the plane.
On Willie Aames.
Hashtag. That might be worse. Hashtag. Frank is nauseous.
Maybe you'll get lucky and land on Steven Seagal.
Not because of the image of the guy impaled, just because you brought up the Glimmer Man.
I liked the Glimmer
Man.
Man.
I loved the Glimmer Man. How did it take us so long to get to Seagal? I don't know how it took us so long to get to Seagal.
But if while skydiving you land on Seagal, he sort of acts like one of those big puffy things that saves suicide.
We have a call coming in. Should we take it?
Holy Lord. Of course.
Caller, you're on the air. Caller?
We should add a little New York flavor.
Whoa, what's that? You're on. Go ahead.
You're
going to add a little New York flavor? I got you now.
Yes, I wanted to talk to the infamous Frank and Beans.
All right, so you got him. What's up?
I'm just calling to say hello and see if you can figure out who this is.
Oh, I know who it is. I can't mistake the accent of Headlock there. It's Headlock.
That is very correct. That is very correct.
Shall I tell everyone?
Go ahead. I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone how you got the name.
Go ahead.
All right, here's how Headlock gets the name, okay? Understand, Headlock, our good friend from New York, is about, I'm going to be generous and say she's about 5 feet tall?
No, 5'1". Thanks a lot, buddy.
Okay, so
You
she's
gotta
4'9".
give me that inch. You gotta give me that inch, man.
Okay, all right. Well, all right, we're not even going to go there. All right, but
So she's 4'9".
right, in reality, okay, yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, women always add a couple inches to their height. How tall are you? I'm 5'4". You're 5'2". Yeah. All right, anyway, all right, so not the tallest person, let's just say, okay?
Was she in that Seven Dwarves movie?
No. They were all
No, I was not.
No, it would have been a good movie, but she would have just put people in headlocks. All right, so a tiny person, a tiny girl, okay, little, petite, that's not big.
I know
okay?
what tiny means.
Okay, although the accent you can hear, very tough, very big accent, outweighs the physical size, gives super strength. That's what I think.
I would not want to be in a headlock.
I think the accent gives power. So we're out one night, okay, and we're out one night. We're out dancing and drinking. Which,
does this story end with someone getting their face bitten off?
No, it ends so much better. So the person, the other names, let's just say JJ.
Mm.
You were out
with
the
us.
publisher of the Daily Bugle?
No. Who himself is a character, okay, a character himself who laughs at all his own jokes and is just really funny. Anyway, is hitting Fallon? Yes, he's hitting on Headlock all night. Okay.
Character is a very generous word.
With no success. Well, he's attempting with his limited social skills to hit on Headlock all night with limited success. Okay. And so, and she's rebuffing him. You would think after a few hours of being eschewed, hashtag.
I don't think that means.
No, whatever. It doesn't. She was eschewing his advances. She was rejecting his advances.
He was being rebuffed. He was not.
Well, all right. Thank you for the grammar correction. I was just throwing a joke out there, but geez, all right. Call the grammar cops. Anyway, woo. All right. So I don't know where that came from. I'm a unicorn. Give me a break. Okay. So he makes his final move at the end of the night, and he just kind of comes up and starts trying to like really just grind on her. Just comes up the headlock, just starts trying to grind on her.
Okay, for the record, for people listening at home, I'm sorry, for person listening at home.
Oh, come on.
This dude is grinding on me to show me.
Yes, that's right. I am.
Happening
and what's sad is that he loves it. Okay, so
nothing sad about that.
You're right. It's not. And so she grabs him in a headlock, obviously, and while in the headlock, does a Seagal-like move. By the way, wearing like 20-inch heels. Okay, like with the shoes.
Okay, so she was 5'1" then.
Well, right. Yes.
No. I was very tall that night. I was very happy about that.
Yeah,
Very
huge,
cool.
right?
How many W's are in the word tall?
No.
There's more than you can count.
All right, so she gets him in the headlock, okay, and then proceeds to throw his ass, just chucks him.
Like throws him using his head to propel him?
Yes, grabs him in the headlock and throws him by the head out of the headlock just across the dance floor onto his ass.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Hilarious.
Mild exaggeration. I don't recall it going so smoothly, but somewhere in the
You were very drunk. You were very drunk.
I wasn't that bad. I remember everything, so it can't be that bad.
No, you were pretty hammered. You remember it because I tell the story with such clarity, and it was so great.
No.
Once again, designated driver.
I specifically remember everything about that night and the whole setup and where we were standing and all that good stuff.
Oh.
But.
All right. So you acknowledge that you put him in. You acknowledge that you put him in a headlock and committed an act of violence. That's where we're at. Right?
I felt at that point it was the necessary thing to do. Yes.
I agree with you.
So subtlety wasn't working.
Having been there, I agree. It was the right thing to do. The only thing,
the tasty way to do it.
The only thing that would have made it even better would be to do Bruce Lee move at the end with the giant shoes. Where he steps on the people. The kick.
Yeah, I think I was more intent on getting back and dancing after I finished that little scuffle.
True.
But that's awesome. That's Patrick Swayze style. You kick the guy's ass and then go right back to dancing.
It was something to do.
Well, you certainly did it. All right, so we're gonna get into now. We've got about 46 minutes left. Okay, Headlock, I'm gonna keep you on for a minute. Is that all right?
You got it.
All right, because we're gonna get into Bust magazine a little bit, and just this is a completely different type of magazine than what we're used to dealing with. Okay, you know, shallow, the silly, you know, the Cosmos, the Glamours, you know, the magazines that are in whatever. I gotta tell you, Bust, totally not like that. Totally not like that. Actually a good magazine to read, even if you're a dude. I'm shocked.
Which one of us might be?
I'm shocked. Well, possibly. I mean, they do a review here of different sleeping bags, okay? One of which is designed to have sex in. One of which is designed to wear.
They're all designed to have sex in.
Well, no, hold on.
That's the whole point of
well,
sleeping bag.
the first one is specifically designed to, and even has images from the Kama Sutra, okay, on it. Like stitched into it, so that if you need inspiration, you can just look at your sleeping bag and pick out some fun new positions to do in the bag. Which
Whose comfort is this geared towards, though?
I don't know. It's the sexy hotness sleeping bag, right?
No. Because I'm looking. There's a picture here, and I'm looking at the sexy hotness sleeping
Well,
bag.
we'll get to that one. We'll get to that one. We'll get to that one because the other two are really cool. But the sexy hotness sleeping bag. There's actually you can zip multiple bags together. That's a little disturbing. And here's my thing. This is the kind of thing, the kind of sleeping bag I think I would only use once.
Well, it's for the Mormon camper. You can zip them all together.
Nice.
You get the whole
Nice.
row.
Hashtag Mormon camper. Because that's a good one.
Goodbye, listeners.
Goodbye, Utah.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Okay, that's the first one. All right. The second one, the Selk bag. It's a sleep suit, so you actually wear it. You know, you wear it as a suit.
Does it only come in bright yellow?
I don't.
In the picture,
I don't know.
Dude sort of looks like Pac-Man.
The hands zip all the way around, and
Pikachu,
it keeps you.
Yeah.
You do look a little bit like Pikachu if
Got
you're
a
in this.
Pikachu look.
That second one, that one's pretty cool. But the third.
I just fell in love with the third one. Just looking at this.
Now, the third one has a great story behind this as well. The third one is the Tauntaun sleeping bag, which, of course, is inspired by the scene in Empire Strikes Back where Han Solo goes out on the Tauntaun and he finds Luke Skywalker frozen, and he cuts open the Tauntaun and he stuffs Luke in to keep him warm, and he says, "Oh, I thought they smelled bad on the outside." Okay, everyone knows that. All right.
Well,
the way this came about,
like us.
the way this product came about is that ThinkGeek.com, which is where you can actually get this fine product, did a April Fool's joke where they said that they had this sleeping bag and they were offering it for sale. They didn't have it. It wasn't a real product. It didn't exist. It was a joke. It was so popular. They had so much demand. They made the product to satisfy the demand. That's how it even has a tail. It even has the tail.
It's got more than that. The print on the inside is printed Tauntaun guts, which I find hysterical. And the zipper is a little plastic lightsaber.
It's fantastic.
So when you open it, you're literally lightsabering it open.
Well, and here's the best part. Of the three sleeping bags mentioned here, it's the cheapest by $50.
It's also the one I find sexy, which probably tells you a lot about me.
Well, dude, how could you not want that?
One is geared towards making you sleep with someone, and one is geared towards making sure you never sleep with anyone again.
Yeah, but dude, it's a Tauntaun. Come on, you sleep in a Tauntaun. That's so cool. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I just think Bust is a pretty cool magazine to actually feature such a dork product in a review. You know, in a technically feminine magazine. All these pages are marked. It's hilarious because I just go through, no matter what I'm trying to do, as I'm trying to read through the magazines to just kind of understand them or look through them, the wife just takes these and just marks them up like crazy. So there's a whole article in here. There's an interview in here with Molly Ringwald. Look at Molly Ringwald, dude. She's actually been pretty good, at least in this photograph. I don't know about in reality, but.
Now, what happened to her Gutenberg of the Week? Because that's pretty good.
Well, she's got her own TV show. She's on the Secret Life of the American Teenager, the most ridiculously unwatchable, bad crappy television show I think I may have ever seen.
And I never even knew it was a thing.
If you want your teens to associate sex with everything bad that could possibly happen, have them watch that show.
Which, of course, I do.
Well, yeah, then there you go. Have them watch that show. But, yeah, Molly Ringwald, interview with Molly Ringwald. And,
well, if you want your teens to stay away from sex, just get them a Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would definitely work. Although you'd have to assure that they had the Tauntaun sleeping bag. Of course, you know what? You know what would be even better? If you
Aside from wasting headlocks anytime minutes?
Well, that too.
You seem to be doing?
You could also put them in a
It's quite enjoyable for me.
It's enjoyable for you?
It's absolutely enjoyable for me.
Well, what do you think? What sleeping bag would you go for? I mean, you can't see them, obviously, but based just on our descriptions, would you go for the Tauntaun?
You know what? I think that's just really overrated, and you just go with the flow and whatever's there. Why waste your money on that?
Go for the Tauntaun.
Just saying.
Just go for what's there. All right.
Trying to be a little thrifty.
I gotcha. All right. So there's a couple of advice questions in the back of Bust.
Advice questions?
Yeah. There's some questions and answers. Question from the Queen, or for the Queen, right? So this one answers these questions. Okay, my boyfriend was abused by his previous partner. He fought, manipulated him emotionally, and when he tried to leave, attempted suicide.
Is that about Charlie Sheen, or is
Yeah.
that...
Though our relationship is strong, I can see evidence of his past abuse. He has trust issues and problems with physical intimacy. He has started therapy, but I'm not sure what I can do to be supportive. Are there sources of info you can recommend? Most of what I found is geared toward women who have been abused by men. Wow.
Huh. That's kind of heavy.
Hashtag really, really somber.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
This is a comedy show, right?
This is a comedy show. I guess it's supposed to be. But, I guess it
into the headlock story.
It does tie into the
guess
headlock
that's true.
story because here's the thing, and this is what I'm pointing out. There are abusive women there. We know them.
There are indeed.
But then again, I'm sure that if you were to ask the victim of the headlock, he would consider you to be very abusive, whereas you would consider yourself to just be protecting yourself.
Very
I guess
at that point, yes, I was.
Okay. Not that I'm justifying any sort of violence against anyone. It's just everybody has their own interpretation of it. It's just interesting to me that there are examples of this in a reverse setting where it's women abusing men, because you just don't think of that. It's just not something that happens very often. And,
well, that doesn't.
I beg to differ. I think it does happen more than we know. It's just not talked about or accepted as much.
And how many views are in talk? Okay, I'm sorry, I stole your joke. I stole Beans' joke.
Stole my joke.
It's terrible. Okay.
It went over my head. I'm so short. I just didn't catch it.
There you go. You're not wearing your big shoes. You're not wearing your tall shoes.
No, I'm not. I'm massively short tonight.
Tonight.
All right. So here's what we're gonna ask we're gonna move into glamour, and we're gonna ask the question. We're gonna ask the glamour question, and we'll take tweets on this too. Twitter.com/Frank the Unicorn. What makes a woman good in bed? Now these are some you want to
Tauntaun sleeping bag.
A Tauntaun sleeping bag. I knew you were going there. I knew a headlock. Right?
Either that or back to the vajazzling.
How about a vajazzled Tauntaun sleeping bag? How about that?
Wow.
Just yeah, I know. We went there. That's okay. That's okay.
All
right.
For the record, you went there.
I did go there. All right. So this is the response from the generic guy. Notice that all these guys, there's all these model guys in here, basically, that have answered the question. All a woman needs to do is act like she wants to be there. Okay, and their response, the glamour asks, how can she do that? Scream, make noise, that's when I know I'm doing my job, I hope. No, Desmond, that's when she's faking it.
I can't tell because I've never been with anyone who wanted to be there. So
okay, well, I'm just, if there's excessive screaming and noise making, that's generally a sign of either one of two things. One, you're having sex with Robert Plant. Two, she's faking it.
I always thought that was like a go team kind of thing. No?
No. All right. Let's see. A girl who tells you what she wants and asks you what you want, communication is everything said. I agree, although you don't want to talk too much. No one wants the talker, right?
That's true.
That's why no one has sex with me.
That's also true.
That is true. You're looking real good, Beans.
I'm feeling it.
All right. Anyway, all right. I love when a girl squeezes and holds on. I want a woman who wants to be with me. All right, Cody. That's interesting. What do you think? Give me some response on this. What makes a woman good in bed?
I don't think I should get into that.
Why not? I mean, I agree the Tauntaun sleeping bag and the jazz are two.
Clearly, I have no idea what women want in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it's not. Think of it this way. This question is not angled as what you think a woman wants from you. It's what you want from her.
Wouldn't most guys, and this is just putting it out there, being very broad, wouldn't they just say just her being there?
I think you're right.
I
think you're right. I mean, like we touched on it last week with the whole Spanx thing. We're just happy to be it's an honor to be nominated, right?
It is an honor to be nominated.
All right, so let's go to this. Let's go to 12 things I wish I'd known about love when I was 21. How about that?
How about anything? I didn't know anything about it when I was 21.
I didn't either. I still
don't know a whole lot about it, but I certainly didn't know anything about it when I was 21.
Yeah, I don't think anyone that's 21 could really. I mean, you just don't have the life experience to mature enough to really get it, right?
Agreed.
Can we all agree on that?
Wasn't love a free keg of beer? I mean, come on.
We have a tweet from what do you call him?
Please tell me your next words are Matt Frewer.
75 with the sexy hotness sleeping bag.
Oh, there it is. There's the link to the sex.
Liquid Ice 75. That sounds like a fantastic person.
Sure. Probably put you in a headlock and throw you across the room, though, if you get stepping.
Well,
yeah,
after 3 hours of not taking a hint, they might. Yeah.
All right. So there's a couple things. One, never underestimate this is the glamour advice. Okay. It could be the Cosmo advice, glamour advice, whatever. This will be in Cosmo 2 months from now anyway. Never underestimate the importance of being interesting. Well, yes, that's right. Men do want someone interesting,
especially those of us with a 2-hour show.
That's true. We require it. But yeah, there's nothing worse. I mean, I broke up with a girl because we had nothing to talk about, and she was gorgeous, but just a blank slate. There was nothing there. We could not converse. Notice I said converse.
I did notice you said converse.
Not conversate. People, conversate is not a real word. Do not say it.
Conversate.
You talk to smarter people than I do.
I've never heard that in my life.
I have. You don't watch as much reality TV as I do.
Oh, thank God I do not.
I still remember the first time I heard that word. It offends my ears so much. Watching the show.
This is the first time I've heard that word offending my ears.
There you go. Looks like you're ready for some shin-shi. Hashtag walking. Okay, so because of the ear thing. Anyway,
I got that.
Yeah. So yeah, actually on Change of Heart way back in the day, real bad TV dating show.
Heart.
Yeah, it was this bad TV dating.
I don't remember that one.
It was a bad TV dating show where they would bring a couple on, and the couple would have gone on a date. Each person on the couple would have gone on a date with someone else, and then they would bring all 4 people on, and they would talk about their dates, and they would decide at the end of it, did they want to stay together, or did they have a change of heart and they wanted to break up?
Oh, that's terrible.
It was terrible and great. You got some great.
I've never heard of that show. Already I hate it.
There was wonderful.
Well, that was a fantastic show.
Yes, it was. Thank you. There were some wonderfully awkward and painful moments on that show.
I would think it would be nothing but awkward and painful moments.
Which is exactly what makes for good TV. All right, so anyway, fine line between, okay, so that's one thing. Yes, you have to be interesting. You have to have something to talk about. You have to have some common interest. And that's the thing. There's always someone who's going to be interested in the same things that you're interested in, or at least a periphery.
Somehow I don't think there is.
No, there is.
I don't think I'm going to find someone who's interested in Tauntaun sleeping bags.
Tauntaun sleeping bags and Max Headroom.
I don't see that.
I see that happening. Okay, there's a fine line between, you've got me. We could share a Tauntaun sleeping bag.
And that is where I think it is my time to exit.
Yeah. What's that Headlock?
I think that was my cue to exit this conversation, and I think it's time to go.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. And,
anytime. Maybe we will talk next week.
I think we will.
All right.
You know what? Yeah, we will. We're going to find out how many W's are in.
Hashtag TAWWWWWWLKW.
I will Google that for you.
Please.
All right.
Have a great night, guys.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that's how calling from New York. Okay, so number 2, there's a fine line between teasing a guy and criticizing him. Duh.
Very true. And turns out it's not that fine a line.
It's not. We don't even like teasing, really.
We really don't.
We have to be way into the relationship for that to be okay.
We'll put up with it. We'll pretend we're okay with it. We're not okay with it.
What you're really doing there is you're crushing our ego, and that's the worst thing that you can hurt on a guy. It's just like, it's the same thing if a guy goes back and starts trying to put down a woman's self-esteem. You don't want to do that. Because you can't build a good relationship. Well, no, you don't. You can't build a good relationship that way. Then you end up with a Kardashian. That doesn't work. All right, your wants and needs.
I thought we were still talking about people. I don't know how.
No, right, yeah, I don't know. Your wants and needs are just as important as his. Okay, pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how to cook / helpful. That is so. I can't get behind that. Right. I just think that's such a typical gender stereotype. I don't agree with it.
You don't think being helpful is good for either?
No, I do, but I think if you present it as being helpful, that's fine. But if you present it as that's awesome. Knowing how to cook, that come on.
I guess.
Come on.
But
right? That's not. To me, that's a little little broad.
Well, I mean,
I can't throw as many W's in his headline.
I say this because I'm a man who knows how to cook, which is clear because I have the body of a god, Buddha.
I know how to cook, but I was born with it. I mean,
You're not born with knowing how to cook. That's not innate.
When you're French, you're born with it.
No, you're not.
It just happens.
Bullhut. You are not born with it.
Yeah. Yep. Just like I was born with this horn.
Because I was the kind of person who could try to make like tuna fish on toast and end up in the burn unit at Mercy Hospital with mayonnaise in my hair. But now,
I remember that day.
Don't you?
Yeah.
That day.
We went home and slept in our Tauntaun sleeping bag. It was great.
I finally found I didn't want you to think I was bored with the show. I was looking through the pictures on my phone because I had a picture of the inside of that thing, which is just awesome, and a little lightsaber.
Oh, yes. That is very cool.
From
and it's pointed so that the blade of the lightsaber is in the Tauntaun.
Of course, because you're slicing it open with the lightsaber. And I so want one of those. Sadly, do they make them in adult sizes? Do we know? Did we find?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, dude, those are definitely made for adults.
Because when it came around, it was only in kid sizes when they first.
Oh no, this one's definitely.
Because I am in fact adult size. Hashtag adult size.
Hey, you got to have some big beans, right?
You sure do.
All right. So okay, we'll just run through these. Sometimes guys flirt with you because it makes them feel good about themselves. I guess. I mean, I don't know too many guys who are like, I'm going to boost my self-esteem by trying to pick up some girls.
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I guess I don't hang around with those people. I hang around with you.
Yeah.
That's a compliment to you. I mean,
those people are definitely out there.
Okay. Again, I just not my interaction, so I'm not aware of it. I mean, I unfortunately my standards are pretty high. I mean, you're a pretty cool guy, and you're pretty level-headed, common sense type of dude. We get along, and I'm not used to the. I wouldn't. Let's just say I wouldn't hang out with someone who would appear on a reality show. How about that?
And thank goodness for that.
Even though I myself have.
Though I would have tuned into the Zwerge show every week.
Oh, you can't. That would have been amazing. You know what that would have been?
Better than Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It would have been kind of It would have sort of been like I don't even know I don't even know what that would have been. Maybe I don't know. No, but you know what would have made it great? Willie Aames. If he had encountered Willie Aames, maybe had a fight with him.
But then we wouldn't have Willie Aames to kick around anymore.
That's true. No, we wouldn't. All right. Number 6, you will probably never fully understand men, so just try to understand yourself. This is actually a very excellent piece of advice for anyone of any gender. You will never understand the opposite sex, so understand yourself, and then you'll understand how you relate to them. Did we just solve the whole dilemma?
I think we did, Dr.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well now, Beans, here's the thing.
Oh,
okay.
Now, I would never have
on.
said it if I knew you were going to try to
All
get
right,
to the voice.
now, here's the thing. Okay.
Oh, no.
Now, I want you to keep this.
Sorry, listening public.
No matter how.
I didn't mean to.
No matter how hard you press down, there's always two sides to a pancake. Okay. First thing I ever actually heard Dr. Phil say. That was the first thing I ever heard him say, and I haven't listened to anything he said since.
No, nor should you.
I don't think so. Although I'm a little bit jealous of his mustache. I think he's got a great stash.
I suppose
he should change his name to Dr. Stash. Hashtag Dr. Stash. Can we tweet to Dr. Phil and tell him he should change his name to Dr. Stash?
But then
Can we do that, please? I think it would be great.
Listen to his response.
You know what? Hey, Dr. Phil, 347-326-9700. Call us and tell us what is wrong with me. How about that? You call and analyze us on the air and tell us how to correct our aberrant behavior. It's a challenge to Dr. Phil.
Is that like trying to get one of those TV psychics to call you to prove they're psychic?
Possibly.
That's good.
All right.
Make him earn that Oprah.
Yeah. 7, it's shocking how much men will talk about marriage. No, it's not. Men will always talk about marriage and how they're against it.
Very true.
More needs to be said. Yeah, we'll talk about marriage, how we're not interested in it. We think it's unfair. It's definitely a woman's idea. Oh, let me get this straight. I get to stay with you for the rest of my life and only have sex with you for the rest of my life. And if anything ever happens bad in our relationship and we break up, even if it's not my fault, you get to leave, take my kids, and I have to pay you, give you half of everything, and pay you alimony and child support for the rest of my life or until you're married again. That sounds like a great deal. Yeah, no man came.
That sounds alarmingly bitter.
Yeah, no man came up with that. All right. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying.
Really? Because the table was just set on fire.
Yeah, I'm not. No, that's not bad. It's a joke, Beans. That's what that is. I don't.
That was funny?
Yeah, that was. To me.
That was.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
I think my soul melted a little bit.
Really?
I do.
I didn't mean that to be.
I feel like I should be paying you alimony right now.
You definitely should. That you definitely should. But I felt like that was just more funny than cynical. Which, number 8, don't be cynical. I broke the rules. I broke rule number 8.
You did.
Don't be cynical. But you know what? I do always follow rule number 9, which is things change once you're naked. That is always true.
Yes, as soon as I'm naked, women run out of the room. So things do change.
They change drastically when you're naked. Number 10.
When the man spanks come off, it's
the chicken cutlets come out, the turkey cutlets come out, and it's all over. Hashtag turkey cutlets.
Tauntaun cutlets.
Tauntaun cutlets. Oh, my God. I hope George Lucas, 347-326-9700, is not listening to this. Because if he is, somewhere down the line there will be Tauntaun
No, listening to stuff like this is pretty much what he deserves after the prequel.
I think you're right, yeah. No, much worse.
Having to listen to our show.
He deserves much worse than our show. Being worshipped isn't all that. Okay, good. Yes, we agree. Let's leave it at that. Number 11, we see what we want to see and ignore the bad signs. Yeah, I think that's true for almost anybody. I mean, especially when love is involved, you do have the blinders on, and I don't know. It's pretty obvious. I've had relationships with people and women that I've certainly ignored the bad signs with. They walk in the room and you hear.
Okay, that just hurt. And
you don't need those speakers.
Clearly,
dogs are barking.
Clearly, they ignored the bad signs as well.
Oh, of course. They stayed in relationships. Of course, they stayed in relationships with me. And number 12, don't compare yourself with your friends. No, ladies, we'll do that for you. I know it's sad, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Yes, men do that. They do. Right?
I don't know that they do.
Jeez, man. Okay, Beans, Mr. Perfect, who has no flaws and apparently is the greatest spouse and mate ever.
I never said anything about having no flaws.
No, I'm just... Come on, man. You gotta help me out a little bit. You're making me look really bad.
I'm making you look bad?
No, I mean, you got to agree with me on some of this stuff.
I don't know that I do.
All right, well, maybe you don't.
I tell you what, as soon as I agree with you, I will agree with you.
I guess I'm more jaded
out loud.
I'm a little more jaded and bitter, I guess.
It seems that way.
All right, well, I apologize for that. I just, it's what it is. When you're a unicorn,
you know what?
The world is not...
He was kidding about having Dr. Phil call in, but Dr. Phil, if you're listening, which of course you are,
347-326-9700. All right, let's do this. Let's just get to something funny, okay? Let's get to the newest questions about love and sex. How about that? Does that sound like something we can do?
Sure.
Okay, so we got 22 minutes left.
But do any of them have anything to do with vajazzling?
Let's find out. I recently got a raise, and now I make more money than my guy does. Instead of celebrating, he's sulking. How can I get him past this ego thing fast? Well, that's pretty easy.
Do dudes really still care if the lady's making more than?
I mean, I don't see how. No, I don't see how they would. But if they do, obviously the thing here to do, buy a Tauntaun sleeping bag, get a bottle of wine, put on Max Headroom, and curl up for the night, right?
Definitely.
Okay. When it comes to hot, beautiful, pretty, and cute, how do guys determine who gets called what? Well, Beans?
I'm thinking.
I hate to be called cute, apparently.
Some do.
I think they do.
Someone.
I just
At
think,
least that's been my experience.
I think that there's,
I've had women tell me, "Hey, I look cute today." Not me, but that they look cute today.
We have a caller. Should we grab? Let's grab this call. Caller, you're on with Frank and Beans.
Hey!
Hello?
Caller.
This is Frank the Unicorn Show!
Yes, it is.
It's Rachel and Leah!
Rachel and Leah, let's ask you a question. Listen. When it comes to hot, beautiful, pretty, and cute, okay, what do you think? What's the preferred? What's the usage of that? What's the preferred usage for that?
Wait, what's the question? Of hot, pretty, cute, or what?
How would you rather have a guy refer to you? Hot, beautiful, pretty, or cute?
It depends on the guy. This is Leah. It depends on the guy because I know what I like.
Rachel prefers beautiful. On the inside.
It depends on the guy. If the guy is hot, I want to be like, damn, he's hot.
Here. You can stop texting me.
Okay, well, let's just, you guys, let me ask you this, because you guys are at World of Beer, is that right?
Yes, we're at World of Beer. It's in Coconut Creek in the Promenade. Little shout out.
All right, let's do a hashtag World of Beer. Throw that up there. Because clearly you guys are consuming alcoholic beverages, because you totally misunderstood the question I asked, which was not how you refer to guys, how you prefer for guys to refer to you.
Well, if a guy's being sincere, then I'd love for him to call me beautiful. But if it's just some dude that walks up and he's like, hey, you're hot, I would appreciate that.
Okay. And so cute is right out. Is that where we're at? Cute just doesn't work. No guy should call you cute.
No, if a guy calls me cute, I'm going to be like, are you gay?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, cute is kind of an insult. Like, if you're not pretty or beautiful or hot, you're cute.
I was going to show like that.
It's okay for you to call each other that, but we can't call you that.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's essentially the same as being put in the friend zone. It's like, it's the way that, if you would say, right, would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree. If a guy called me cute, then it would be like, oh, okay, that's nice.
So you're in the friend zone. Whereas, and let's take it a step further. Okay, let's take it a step further. So then, if they refer to you as beautiful or pretty, that would indicate more of they are more interested probably in more of a long-term, more serious relationship. You think?
I think if someone's telling me that they think I'm beautiful, they're either looking for something more serious or they're really trying super hard to get in my pants.
Okay, because I would think that hot would be the way to go on that one.
Hot would just be like a pickup line, like, hey, baby, you're hot.
All right.
That's the worst pickup line.
That is the worst pickup line. That is almost the worst pickup line I've ever heard of myself.
What is the worst?
Oh. Okay, all right. The worst pickup line I've ever heard, or that I've ever used? Well, they're the same. I'm glad you asked. Excuse me. I lost my little dog, and I'm wondering if you can help me. I think he ran. Let me look for him. I think he ran into the dog.
There's Leah and the radio with the radio show.
Okay.
Hi, Emily.
Okay, we love Emily. Can we just shout out Emily because she's the best? PrettyUsefulThings.com. We love her.
I guess we're getting random product placement on the show. That's fine. What?
Yep.
Beer tweet up next week.
And those rails
Okay.
Awesome.
And then, everyone should come to our mini beer up next week. It's going to be at World of Beer, 7 o'clock on the dot, Coconut Creek Promenade. Get your free beer, your free koozies, and see some hot bitches.
Well, we just can't resist hot bitches,
So wait a
can we?
second. You can call them pretty or cute, but when you call them hot bitches, where does that land? Do you respect that when a guy calls you a hot bitch?
How does that work out?
After like 3 beers, I totally respect the hot bitch.
Good to know.
All right, so you guys know where to go if you feel like buying free beers and things.
So you've been respecting hot bitch for about 6 hours now.
To surprise you.
Okay, I love you. Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Please tell me you're not driving.
Let's hope to God you're not driving. That was interesting. I think that was our first drunk dial. That was our first drunk dial on the show. That was hilarious.
The other reason Willie Aames didn't call, he didn't want to be first.
He didn't want to be first. Willie Aames, you'll always be first.
It's true.
Okay.
That's the best pickup line I've ever heard.
There you go. You know what? I'm going to try that.
You should go. Whoever's listening, go up to the opposite gender person of your choice, and you say to them, Willie Aames, you'll always be first.
And if it works, call us and let us know. In fact, before you do it,
when it works,
before you call us 347-326-9700, and then approach the member of the opposite sex and use the Willie Aames pickup line.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed to work? It's a winner.
Guaranteed by our show.
Can I ask you, though, do you think that if you were to use the same exact pickup line and you were to tell them that Adrian Zmed is always number one, would that work?
No,
because,
not.
Do you know why? Because he's always in the sequel. So Adrian Zmed would always have to be number two.
I think it was just that once, but
did I just call Adrian Zmed number two?
You did.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Adrian Zmed. I didn't mean that. Okay. Hey, hashtag Adrian Zmed number two. Why not?
There are many reasons why not. Moving on.
You know what? We never did finish the 10 reasons it would be a great idea or would be awesome to date a unicorn.
Oh no, we finished it.
We didn't actually finish it, but we finished.
We finished it.
Yeah. With apologies to the author. Okay. Let's go ahead and answer some more questions out of here. Okay.
Right.
Let's see. How do you tell a guy his sex game needs improvement without hurting his feelings? Well, Beans, this is something you're familiar with.
Quite.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's never been told to me without hurting my feelings.
It always hurts your feelings. There's no way around it.
There's no way to not hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the best way to there's really no way to do that other than, you know what? Don't say anything. Just try to show that person how to make improvement.
Show to tell?
That is definitely show, not tell. That's one you got to learn by doing. Get it?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's just not. Okay, hashtag awful pun. No? Okay. Whenever a guy starts talking to me about his last girlfriend, I immediately think, uh-oh, he's still in love with her. Is he?
You know what? That's something I hate when I'm talking to a young lass, not too young, and sometimes too young. But anyway, and she's telling me all about whoever she just broke up with, or in my world usually still hasn't broken up with yet, but told me she broke up with. Whenever that happens, drives me absolutely nuts. We don't want to hear only about other dude.
Well, I mean, you know, reverse the situation if you're a girl and you go out, you know.
They don't want to hear.
Right, they don't want to hear all about the
other
ex.
lady. Of course.
Yeah,
not.
It's the same thing. I mean, it's the exact same thing. And in a lot of respects, the rules apply for both. You know, the rules are the same both ways. But I agree, it's just so annoying, and especially when you start talking about all the ways that guy is better than me. Which, unfortunately, on a first date, and this is why you never discuss your exes on a first date, you don't know anything. You don't know enough about me to know all the ways that I'm going to feel like this guy's better than me. That I'm going to, you don't know my insecurities, so you don't know what of those things are. Oh, he's a cowboy. Oh, okay, well.
Well, that's the thing. We tend to assume that men don't have insecurities. For the record, we do.
It's an excellent point. Yes, we do. We do have insecurities. This is why they make Manx.
Some of us have nothing but insecurities.
This is why they make Manx.
Some of us have no securities.
Okay, but yes, that's true. And some of us are quite confident, perhaps overconfident. If you are the overconfident type, here's what we want you to do. We want you to dial 347-326-9700. Then, while you're on with us, we want you to approach a member of the opposite sex and tell them
Willie Aames
is always number one.
You'll
always be number one. Or Adrian Zmed, you'll always be number two.
You don't want to bring up number two in the pickup line.
No.
It's a bad choice.
Probably.
Unless you're hitting on Robert Wagner. It's a bad choice.
Or unless you're hitting on R. Kelly. That would also. Probably.
No, he was pretty strictly number one, from what I understand.
All right.
From what the transcripts have taught me.
All right, here's another one. Okay. I'm going to scream if a guy tells me one more time that I'm intimidating. What the heck does that mean? To me it says unattractive or not my type. No. What that means is you are so out of my league.
So clearly smarter than me.
Yes, you're so clearly smarter and more intelligent than I am, more successful than I am, and again, way out of my league in terms of when people see us together, they're going to think, that guy must have money.
But again, you don't want to tell somebody that you're intimidated by them, at least not early on.
No, because it sets your relationship on a bad path. And also, too, again, it obviously makes a woman feel a little bit insecure.
Yeah.
You know, because it sounds disingenuous. It doesn't sound like you're actually being honest and saying, hey, listen, this is how I really feel. It sounds like you're kind of copping out a little bit. Yeah. Let's just be friends, or, you're not really my type, or, you're not really just being blunt and frank about things.
That can make the other person fairly uncomfortable when you're telling them that they walk on the ground you worship.
That's true. It's also true. See, I deal with that all the time because I'm so severely intimidated by my significant other.
And should be.
And I am. But
you're right.
Yeah, I know. I have cause for that. Most people don't, but I actually do. And if you're listening to the show, you probably understand why. Probably. You're listening to this by choice for 2 hours. Imagine hearing this all the time.
First of all, let me disavow the notion that anybody's listening to this for 2 hours.
Right. You're right about that. Or at all, for that matter. 347-326-9700.
Pick up a phone, folks.
You could do it.
It's
all right.
nighttime. Your minutes are free.
Okay. Now this one I know you're going to like, and I'm gonna read this question specifically because it has one of your favorite words in it, and it's not Sputnik and it's not vajazzling. Okay. You can guess what it is.
Tauntaun?
Tauntaun. Close. Okay. What about sexting? Can we get a group definition going? For some, it's flirty messages, but for others, it's who's touching what, oohs and ahs, the whole shebang. Okay, well, let's talk about sexting. It's your favorite word.
Do we need a definition of sexting?
I think, it's kind of, to me, this is almost like asking, let's define sex. There's really no way to define it, because everybody's going to do it differently. Everyone's got their own style to it, right?
It depends on what your definition of is.
Oh, God.
How can I resist that?
I know.
Dated, but still funny.
Still funny. But again, it is just too subjective. It's not, because, for example, turning up, the Mormon thing, again, we mentioned Mormons earlier in the show, they would certainly have a very different definition of what a sext might be, or sexting might be, as opposed to, say, someone who is not quite so conservative. Someone a little bit more liberal have a totally different definition of that.
More importantly, how would an Aames person sext?
With a smoke signal, I believe.
That would
actually have to do a smoke signal.
I would enjoy that.
I would love to see that.
If you're Amish, you're not listening to this, so I can say
they could be on their weekend.
If you know an Amish person, please take your horse and buggy over to their house and tell them to sext us.
Via smoke screen.
You're looking out the window right now.
Smoke signal, yeah. That will not, for some reason, I just don't see how we're going to get a lot of Amish.
There's got to be an Amish sexter out there somewhere.
I'm sure that,
Durham Springa, they learned how to sext, and now, there's got to be one.
Do you know what I would do to thou? Come on.
I would love them to raise my barn.
I want to blow out all the candles and take off your black dress. I don't know. I'm making fun of the Amish. Why? They can't hear it.
They can.
It's fine. All right.
They're the one group we're allowed to mock.
That's the one. Because
who's going to tell them?
Yeah,
hey, Ezekiel.
Right.
Check this out.
Well,
I can.
And by the time they get here, we'll be long gone.
That's true.
They're not going to. It's not like you can't outrun the Amish. Okay, if you can't escape the Amish, you got problems.
Probably true.
Even if you're on foot, hop on a bus, get on a train, something. You can get away. Hitch a ride, call a cab, whatever. Take an escalator. You can get away from the Amish. Escape the Amish. There's your bad name. Hashtag escape the Amish. That's it. No?
I think Amish sexting would be better.
Amish sexting? Okay. Hashtag Amish sexting. That'll work too.
Oh, that's already done.
That's already done?
That was a while ago.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I swear to God, this is an actual question. Just read about vajazzling, and am I now seriously expected to bedazzle my lady parts?
Yes, you are. That's it. That's the only answer.
You know what?
No, we're done. Next question. Yes, the answer is yes.
Can I just ask question?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that break?
I would imagine
It depends. It depends.
Bedazzled, I would think that would
It depends. If you're
It probably
if you're
would,
Amish,
but I'm so fascinated by the concept of it.
if you're
I
Amish,
just want to see it once before I die. Can I have that? Don't take that away from Beans.
I would never take that away from you. I will say this though. I think it depends on how you're doing it. And if you're Amish and you're bedazzled, you'll definitely get some scraping.
I don't think you get Amish vajazzlers.
Why not?
I don't think they're aware of it.
Well, okay, they're not aware of it, but
They have a
technology.
rock company. They polish their own stones to do it. It's a lot of work.
They actually
Lot of
they
work.
don't glue them. They just they tie the hair.
A lot of
They tie
work.
them to the hair. Is that no?
Okay,
Okay.
now I'm very nauseous.
Beans is nauseous. Hashtag Beans is nauseous.
Whoa, am
Okay,
I nauseous?
let's do this. We've got about 6 minutes left in the show. Okay.
Is that all?
And that's all. And we had to mention the vajazzling. We had to mention the sexting. We took a few calls. We talked about George. We did some fun things. We talked about Seven Dwarves, the Seven Dwarves, the German dwarf movie. We talked extensively about Max Headroom and fake celebrity. We did a little bit on the Day of History, Week in History. We got accused of being too serious. We got our first drunk dial, which was great. And the one thing that we did not mention all show, which is due to actually start in about 5 minutes when our show goes off the air. So as soon as we're done, we're going to go outside because at 10 p.m.
Is this where Willie Aames rides across the sky and gives presents to all the little boys and girls?
He may, but it's the Perside meteor shower, and we didn't mention it all show. And I feel like with all the tauntaun talk and all that, if you're still listening, you're probably a dork who's into.
I think
that
the
sort of
meteor
thing.
shower pales to Willie Aames riding across the sky,
Unless he's riding on one of the meteors.
or on an Amish sext.
Oh man, Willie Aames riding an Amish sext. We got to tweet this out. The vision we want to see.
I think we're out of characters.
Yeah, Willie Aames riding the Amish sext
I think
to Adrian's Zmed's house.
I think we might have just created a new religion.
It's very possible. I'm sure there's at least one person we could convince to sign up for that.
The Aamesish.
The Aamesish?
Yes, it's like the Amish, but for Willie Aames.
Oh my. They do nothing that isn't done by Buddy Lembeck. They live their
No.
lives according to the tome of Buddy Lembeck.
Thou shalt be zapped.
Thou shalt be zapped. Thou shalt be Lembeck.
Yes.
And Charles shall always be in charge.
Thy will be zapped.
Our days and our nights. Our wrongs and our rights.
Right.
Actually, you know what? That could turn into something.
It could.
That could turn into something. I really could see that. I could see doing some preaching with the Charles in Charge theme song. Yeah?
I think we found our new theme music.
Oh man, if we could steal it, I totally would. If nothing else, just for the horn section. Not the first season, but like the
Who do we tweet to
syndicated-
get the rights to the Charles in
Yeah,
Charge
seriously.
theme?
The second season theme song, the horn section is so ridiculous and over the top. I don't know how.
They had this. I didn't even know they.
Oh
changed the
yeah,
theme.
dude. Oh, it's rough. It's rough. I mean, actually, what would be great would be just to hear that horn section while watching the Perside meteor shower. And it can be seen with the naked eye. Starts at 10 p.m. After midnight is actually going to be a better time to see it. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is said to be the best time, and there should be between 90 and 100 meteors per hour, so it should be quite good and not something that happens all the time. So just to mention that and throw that in as we are starting to begin wrapping up our show, which is what we always do.
Starting to begin
to.
You have an interesting concept of time.
Yes, I do. And it's totally, call the grammar cops again, because I just totally blew it there again and again and again.
And again.
And again.
Make me ashamed to be an English major.
You know what's going to happen? Willie Aames is going to ride in here on a comet and slap my face.
He is.
But you know what? It won't be Willie Aames.
It'll be Bibleman.
It will be Bibleman. And you know who his sidekick is?
Amish sexting boy?
Adrian Zmed. Number 2. No?
No.
Amish sexting boy. That's a great sidekick to have.
That's a comic book I'd pick
Hey,
up.
what's your power? Well, I can send these sexy
the power to sext without technology.
That is fantastic.
How much would you follow that dude?
I mean, I wish Adrian Zmed had that power. In fact, if I ever find a magic lamp, and I get 3 wishes, I'm going to make sure one of my wishes is Adrian Zmed becomes Amish sexting boy and acquires the power to send sex without technology. Just as you've Yeah.
And
then
if you're a good boy, Willie Aames will grant your wishes.
That's true. While riding on a comet.
You are now Aamesish.
Oh, my. All right. Hashtag Aamesish. All right. So, yeah, we've got about a minute left. We're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for calling in. There we go. I want to thank Sean for calling in. I want to thank Hemlock for calling in. I want to thank Rachel and Leah. And check out,
they won't remember it
even though they won't remember it in the morning, which is probably for the best, and that's probably how, that happens a lot for them, I'm sure. Go outside, check out the Meteor Shower when our show is off the air. If you're listening to this on a podcast, you probably missed it. Sorry. World of Beer in Coconut Creek. That's going to be next Wednesday. There's a tweet up. Frank the Unicorn Show will be there. We'll have a representative there, a producer there. We'll see. Maybe we can convince myself, the Unicorn, to come out. I don't know. We'll see how that works out.
You're coming out and you're ending the show on that?
Well, the World of Beer. I mean, I'm just appearing at the World of Beer. Don't take this in a direction
You're
it doesn't
ending
need
the
to
show
go in.
on that?
Now, we're going to climb into our Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Oh.
We're going to climb into our Tauntaun sleeping bag, but we're not going to the show on that. That's
so sorry I'm Aamesish and can't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, me too. But you can send sex without technology because you, in fact, are Amish sexting boy.
That's right.
All right. And we're going to go ahead and call that a show. We've got about 29 seconds left.
What would you call it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. But thank you for everyone for calling in. Thank you for everyone for listening again. Thank you for the this past weekend to Pitch to the Rhino, pitchtotherhino.com, World of Beer, and Elfmatronics. Call them if you got a problem.
Good night, all Willie Aames.
We're going to end on that. Adrian Zmed number 2. Adrian Zmed number 2.